nights from Barnhill Arena in Fayetteville. It's SEC gymnastics and a good one. The 10th ranked Georgia Gym Dogs come to town to compete against the 15th ranked Arkansas Razorbacks. And this old building has become the place to be to see a good show on a Friday night. With Heather Elswick, I'm Brett Dolan. And Heather, last week in Missouri, Arkansas posted their first win in a year, their first win on the SEC road circuit in 2 seasons.
Yeah, Arkansas is really shocking the world this year and continue to improve with every competition.
See that score, 196.025. Meanwhile, the Georgia Gym Dogs last week against Auburn, they put up the 3rd best score this season in the SEC.
Yeah, and I definitely think that's giving them a big boost of confidence going into this meet tonight.
Should be fun tonight. Georgia and Arkansas, they competed 3 times a year ago, with Georgia winning all 3. Here's the vault lineup that we will see tonight. It's the first time Arkansas has broken out a different lineup. They've used the same for the previous 4 weeks, and their sister coming in as the anchor tonight.
Yeah, I like to say I taught her everything she knows now, but you know, she's got a one-up on me now.
And Jessica Yamzon competing again in the all-around, leading off each and every event. Ready to get things started for the Razorbacks tonight. This is the one event Arkansas really trying to improve upon as they go forward.
Definitely. I think this is where they lack in the final scores. When you look at the grand scheme of things, this is their lowest of all their scores. So if they can start putting in some 1.5, some 10-0 start values, then they'll kind of see that score go up. Nice pull there. She really over-rotated it, had to take a huge step out, but it still had a lot of amplitude. She got a good block off the table. It's a good start.
We are indeed underway from Barnhill. There's Rachel Lucas competing on the bars for the Gym Dogs.
Right here we're looking for nice hit handstands. It looked like she hit that first one pretty clean. A little short on that one after the release move. Nice pack to the low bar. Transitioning to the high bar for a dismount. Try to hit that handstand. A little bit short from my angle, but beautiful double layout dismount. Stuck landing. She's happy about it. Great first start for Georgia.
Good beginning for the Gym Dogs. They had a 49.275 on the bars last week against Auburn. They were above 49 in all 4 events.
Yeah, you really want to see the team start at 49 on all 4 events.
Here's Kiera Johnfania. They dropped her score a week ago at 9.65.
Looks like she came back with a strong vault this week. Again, with the landings, they really got to focus on sticking these landings on vault with the 9.5 start value. So that's something that hopefully the rest of the lineup can pick up.
It was something they worked on this week and practiced the details, the landings, to improve upon those scores.
You know, that extra endurance and everything takes over a little bit sometimes.
Amanda Cashman back in her 2nd spot. The freshman out of New Jersey, a very young team. We'll talk more about that later. Cashman ready for the go-ahead.
Here she goes.
Talk a lot about calm confidence on this Georgia team. It's one of their mantras. She's taken a few extra seconds just to gather herself.
Sometimes that's helpful, and sometimes it makes you a little bit more nervous when they make you wait. Beautiful release move. Shirley has pretty lines on the uneven bars. Oh, that was interesting. Overshoot to straddle up. She's really hit most of her handstands. And really good double layout dismount. Just a little bit of chest down on that landing. Had to take a step forward, but fantastic bar routine from her. Here's that release move. Like I said, she has great amplitude off the high bar. Almost hit that handstand up right after it.
Lucas at a 9.725. Here comes Madison Hickey, her event, competing in the vault.
Oh, that was a huge Yurchenko full. Lots of amplitude, really high off the table, and got distance from the vault. Replaying her vault here. Nice open hips as she lands that. Almost stuck full. Tiny little step.
Almost controlled that landing, a 9.775 last week. Already Arkansas is a 9.65 and a 9.675 from Yemzan and John Fania.
It's like her coach is giving her a little pep talk here.
So Louis Hadaway, another one of their freshmen, a Georgia native, up third for the Gym Dogs. Got a couple of 9.725s, the exact same score for Lucas and Cashman, the first two up for Georgia tonight.
Hit that first handstand, going into the release move. Beautiful, a little bit of leg separation there when she was catching the bar. Again, a little bit of leg separation on the overshoot as well. So those are just tiny deductions that the judges will see. But she's really been hitting her handstands well. Going into her dismount. Beautiful double layout, stuck landing. She knew it right when she landed that one.
Outstanding job. She had a 9.8 last week. You can see the excitement from her teammates after this routine.
Fine, dismount here. Nice distance from the high bar, beautiful height. You can see she's right at the level of the high bar.
There's Kennedy Hambrick. She had a 9.8 last week. #1 tops on her team at Mizzou.
All right, looks like she had a little bit of extra room there. Could have probably added another half twist. Hopefully they'll add that in here before the end of the season. But again, those landings are just gonna be the difference between Arkansas and Georgia here. Hopefully they can get a hold of those before the SEC tournament.
It's something Jordan Weber talked about this week. Her team hit 24 of 24 routines. They were able to stay on the equipment, but just those skill issues of perfecting the landings as we go forward, kind of cleaning things up.
It is. It's extremely important. It really is what will set a team apart from someone who does hit those handstands and lands every landing and isn't counting any falls. So
there's Megan Roberts. She's up fourth for Georgia. The 9.825 from Hadaway, the top score out of the first three for the Gym Dogs.
Beautiful release move. She has kept her legs together perfectly all the way throughout this. I like her easy momentum throughout this routine. She swings very well. Beautiful dismount, stuck landing. Took a second there to realize that she stuck it. I like it. Beautiful. Coach is excited too.
Here is Sarah Schaefer, a 9.8 is the top score so far for Arkansas. And Sarah Schaefer coming off a 9.775 last week.
So Sarah only does a Yurchenko half, which still starts from a 9.95, but she likes that blind landing, which you can see kind of gave her a better chance of making the almost stick. She took a little step backwards.
You say blind landing, I get nervous for them.
It is a little bit different. You don't have that spot. You can't look at anything really to focus on where you're going to land.
Here's Haley DeYoung. We talk about this being a young team. You see her average on the season. Another one of the freshmen for the Gym Dogs. Coming off a score last week where she had a 9.850.
I love gymnasts that change up their hairstyles and puts a little personality with them. Going into a release move. Wow, so much height off the high bar. You don't see that very often. Oh, she just missed that handstand though after. Really got to hit that. Going into her dismount. Nice handstand there. And another double layout. Oh, so close to stuck. Just a little hop forward. Minor deduction there, but she's happy with that routine.
So here is Amanda Ellswick. She dealt with the shin issue, so a little sis with her first competition of the season.
Yeah, I know talking to her before today, she was extremely excited, not even nervous at all, which pretty good to have that confidence going into first competition, and it was fantastic.
She had a 9.9 last year at the SEC Championships, and how about that for the first competition of the season?
Pretty fantastic after only practicing a few times this week, so I'm happy for her.
As the anchor spot in her first Watched the reaction of her teammates. They were almost as pumped up as Big Sister was sitting next to me. And that's okay. That is allowed.
It's hard not to be excited for her.
Marissa Oakley up next. Talented gymnast, a junior who last week had titles, winning the bar. She had a 9.925. We'll see if she can do it again here tonight.
I hope so. Nice, perfect handstand to start. Beautiful release move there. Legs are together. Legs have not come apart yet. Beautiful pack to the low bar. Going for a dismount now. See if she hits this handstand. Perfect. I love when the gymnast can kind of stop on top of the high bar when they do the handstand. It really shows that they hit it. Shows the judges, like, you can't take anything from me. Just happy with that.
The score for your sis was a 9.875. That completes the first rotation. We'll return to another packed crowd here at Barnhill Arena, SEC Gymnastics from Fayetteville. Loud and proud inside Barnhill Arena as we're through one rotation. Friday Night Heights with Georgia and Arkansas competing. And we welcome you down to the floor. I'm Brett Dolman, former Razorback gymnast Heather Ellswick. And the one thing we knew coming into the season was the success that Jordan Weber had as a competitor. We're finding out now as a head coach, she's enjoying that same type of success as she's gotten her team off to a very strong start.
I think so too, and it kind of gives her that advantage that she's around the girls' age and she's able to communicate with them really well and just hear what they need and to give them her best.
No doubt about it. We're going to take a look and put you in that Wayback Machine and talk about Jordan and her career and what she was able to accomplish. And it doesn't get much better than competing in those Olympic Games.
It doesn't. I don't know what that's like, but it must be pretty fantastic.
Yeah, there is a even younger Jordan Weber trying to bite into that gold medal from the 2012 games. But she is not the only young coach, if you will, because Courtney Kupets-Carter is someone who's had a tremendous amount of success both at the Olympic level but also at the collegiate level at Georgia.
Definitely, and I think that gives her an advantage here because she's been in this situation. She's been in this arena, and she's been that lead and that good person there to give them a good lead off.
You see these strong leaders starting young. Jordan was at the age of 23, but Courtney Kupets-Carter competing at the age of 30. So you talk about young performers, but in gymnastics, you're used to being on stage from a very early age.
Definitely. It does, like I said, give them an advantage because they're able to relate to the girls so much more.
Courtney Kupets-Carter, also a silver medal winner going back to the Olympic Games in 2004 in Athens. And both have their teams ranked in the top 15 entering action tonight. And Chris Brooks, you talk about experience both collegiately and international. He's somebody who's very involved as an assistant coach and obviously has quite a platform by which to teach.
Definitely, and I think he's such a great, poor choice of words, but cheerleader for these girls. He is their biggest fan, and he shows it on the side. Every picture you see him, he's cheering these girls on and just purely excited for them.
Team captain back in the Olympic Games in 2016 in Rio. We'll step aside, come back to Barnhill Arena for the second rotation. The Razorbacks and the Gym Dogs from Northwest Arkansas. That's the face of concentration before competition inside Barnhill Arena. Through one rotation tonight. Last week at Mizzou, Arkansas won 3 events. They did not win the vault. They did not win tonight, so to speak, at least in that first rotation, as Georgia posted a little bit better score at 49.025, and Arkansas with the 48.850. But Amanda Ellswick with a strong score, leading Arkansas in their vault.
Definitely. I think Arkansas was just a little bit off with their landings today on vault, but something that they can focus on again next week.
Is that something that you would hope would be refined each and every week as they move forward towards March?
Yeah, I definitely think that that's going to be the biggest thing that's going to set them apart. Like I said earlier, they've really got to stick those landings because they don't have any 10-0 start values right now.
Rachel Bauman ready to get things going. She will start with a 9.95 start value. In fact, the first two gym dogs are the only two below that 10 start value.
Nice full stuck landing. Absolutely perfect full there. Beautiful height off the table. Open hips throughout the full. There she goes again. A little bit of arms bent on the table, but honestly, that was a perfect full.
Well, no surprise, Jessica Yamzan ready to lead off the bars competition. You see her average at 9.76. Had a 9.775 last week.
Jessica is such a consistent lead off for the Arkansas gymnastics team. She's consistent with her scores, consistent with making every single routine count for her team. Nice hit handstand there. Going into her dismount. Beautiful double out, full out, stuck landing.
Well, she's fired up.
Definitely, it's one of the best bar routines I've seen from Jessica.
Certainly a good start for the Razorbacks. We'll take another look.
Nice dismount there, a little bit of pike throughout the twist, but fantastic dismount there.
Yeah, that smile has not come off her face after that landing.
Yeah, she's definitely happy about that one.
There's Abby Ward, 9.825 last week.
All right, a Souk full, another 9.95 start value. Fantastic height from the table. You don't see a Souk very often in college gymnastics anymore.
Why is that?
I don't know. I think it's just more common to do your Shinko. I like that she's mixing it up, though.
There's Chris Brooks. Last-minute instructions to Kiera Gianfagna, the freshman out of Indiana. Of a 9.775 last week at Missouri.
She's been pretty consistent this season with her scores, especially on this event. Beautiful release move there. Lots of height at the high bar. Overshoot, a little bit of leg separation, slight deduction there. Beautiful handstand on the high bar. Going into her dismount. Nice full in.
2 for 2
Perfect
on landing.
Stuck landing. Another one for Arkansas. That's what you want to see. There's her dismount again. Beautiful. Look at that stuck landing. You can see Chris Brooks on the side again. He's all excited.
There are your points of emphasis for vault. Start value, talk about amplitude and landing. Now this is the first 10-0 start value for Georgia. Roberts did not compete last week against Auburn, so we'll see what she does in the 3 spot this evening.
First 10-0 start value of the night, too. Shinko 1.5. She really tried to look for that landing. Again, that's another blind landing, so it is very difficult to see where you're trying to put your feet. She almost had it.
And now, on guard for Arkansas,
Haley Garner is the third to compete for the Razorbacks. Started this year with a concussion issue, and last week did one event, and it was the bars at a 9.750.
She goes for her release move first. Beautiful Ginger, so much distance from the high bar. Straight into the overshoot. On that overshoot, you want to make sure that you're at least at the 90 degrees, which she was. Almost another stuck landing there. She's still happy about it. She's making her little dance move. Shows she's excited.
Arkansas has had scores of 9.825, 9.875 from Yamzan and Gianfagna. Before that performance from Gillings. Michaela McGee up next.
Another 1.5. Again, another hard to stick landing, but they're going for them though. I like that Georgia is able to put in some of these 10-0 start values before postseason comes around.
Courtney Kupets-Carter with a hug for McGee. She also didn't compete last week. Another performer from the Houston area where there are so many of these Razorback gymnasts from that area, but not Bailey Lovett, North Carolina native. You see that brace on her elbow, and apparently before this season she needed another surgery, and she said, nope, I'm going to compete rather than sit, and she wears that brace.
I'd probably say the same thing as she did. Beautiful release move on the high bar. So much height and distance there. Nice overshoot to handstand. The coaches are able to stand there and kind of be there as a guide if they need it, but they just can't touch them.
Are stuck landings contagious? All of a sudden the Razorbacks are hitting one after another.
I hope so. They need them after that vault rotation. All right.
And there's the hog chain necklace securely around the neck of Bailey Lovett. Soraya Hawthorne, the fourth up for the Gym Dogs. Their top score, they've had 2.98 so far in this competition before Hawthorne, another freshman from Memphis, takes her turn.
Oh man, she just had a little bit too much height onto the table, so her hands weren't getting a good enough block up, so it just made her a little bit short. Hopefully her teammates can have her back and won't have to count that fall.
There's your points of emphasis on the bars, handstands, releases, and of course that dismount.
Yeah, those are the biggest things that the judges are really looking for, hitting that handstand and holding it. That's what they really would like to see.
Kennedy Hambrick last week had the #1 score for her team on bars. Then again, she had the #1 score on the vault and the floor as well, and in fact won that all-around competition.
Yeah, she's going to be a very consistent one for Arkansas. Beautiful release move to overshoot. Good connection there. Beautiful handstand on the high bar. Like I said, she stopped on the top, and another stuck landing.
Well, the Razorbacks have had 3 straight scores of 9-8, 7-5. We'll see if Hambrick might be able to improve upon that.
I think she will. With that, all of her handstands were hit on top of the bar. Beautiful stuck landing on the dismount. She's happy about that routine.
Next up is Rachel Lucas. She is the sophomore out of New Jersey, won the event title last week on the vault. We'll see what she can do here. She had a 9.9, which was a season high.
Nice double full. And that's another one that you're starting to see more often in collegiate gymnastics, but it's still very rare. And when people do it, it's amazing. Nice height off the table. Beautiful double full.
So Sydney Laird is ready to be the anchor for the Razorbacks, the 6th in the competition. They ended up dropping her score last week on the bars. She tied for the event title back against Kentucky.
I think maybe she just made a couple of extra mistakes last week, and she's been working on them this week so that she doesn't make the same mistake again. She wants her score to count, especially if you're an anchor on every event. You want to make sure your score is counting.
She's following up a 9.950 from Hambrick.
Double layout dismount, almost another stuck landing. Beautiful routine there.
Heather, that was an impressive all-around performance on the bars from all 6 gymnasts.
I thought so too. Fantastic hit handstands. A majority of the teams stuck their dismounts, and release moves were fantastic today. No count falls.
Chris Brooks there for a few words of encouragement after the Razorbacks had the lowest score of their competition, a 9.825. That's the one that they ended up dropping in the bars. Strong finish from Hambrick and company.
That's a good score to have to drop. You want to count as high as you can.
Jordan Weber has to be pleased with the effort on the bars. Meanwhile, Georgia will drop that 9.125 on Hawthorne's stumble. But for Jordan Weber, she talked about the importance of getting that win against Mizzou, but at the same time, wanting to continue the upgrades and the improvements. And I think you've seen that almost each and every week.
I think so too. It's definitely shown in their scores. and their wins versus losses. So I think she's done a great job with this team and building confidence and creating winners out of them.
This is Kaylee Gillings in the exhibition on the bars for Arkansas.
She's done a great job so far. Had a beautiful release move on the high bar to overshoot. Has hit all of her handstands so far. Blind full to double back. And a little bit of a step back. That's a great routine to see for an exhibition routine. Hopefully she can get it back into that lineup.
Well, the Razorbacks an impressive 49.425 in the bars as they jump ahead through 2 rotations and really surviving the vault and then performing well on the bars, and it was really one stuck landing after another.
I think so, and that's going to be a big separation between them and Georgia on that event.
This is Kennedy Hambrick. She set the tone with a 9.950.
Jordan Weber contacted me when she was 15, and she was the best gymnast in the world. And she said to me, I'm not sure if I'm going to go professional or not, but regardless if I do or keep my amateurism, I would love to be a part of a collegiate program. And I said, obviously, oh my gosh, any way we could have you would be amazing. But if you're not going to be able to compete, the only position that I can bring you in is as a team manager, which includes chalking the bars and moving the mats and doing the laundry and setting out the gear and having a servant's heart. And without hesitation, she said, no problem.
I initially went to UCLA, even though I knew I wasn't going to be able to compete for the team, because I wanted to be a part of a college gymnastics team. And I knew I wanted to be mentored by Miss Val. That's how it all started. And then when I got there, and she said, you have to be a team manager. I was like, okay, I don't know what that means, but sure, I'll do it. And so once I got integrated with the team, I started realizing how valuable it is to be on a team and how much more you can accomplish with other people. And so when I was asked to do things like do the laundry and move this mat, chalk those bars, I thought, okay, if that's what the team needs, I'm gonna do that. And that's sort of the mindset that I've kind of I was raised with, and I feel like that it's such a valuable thing to go about your day and not have an ego with what you're doing. And even now, as a head coach, I move mats and I do what needs to be done, because if it's gonna help the team, I'm gonna do it.
Jordan kept training for the next Olympic cycle, but because she was a professional, she couldn't train with our team. So she had to train from 6 in the morning till 8. About 4 months into this, she came to my office. We weren't that close yet, her freshman year, and she came, stood at my desk, big tears coming down her face, and she just said, I've realized I'm not gonna be able to do both. I'm not gonna be able to train for the next Olympic cycle and be my best for UCLA gymnastics. And my heart just broke, because I knew she was gonna tell me she had to leave UCLA. And she said, I said, okay, Joe, I'll support you in whatever your choice is. And big tears, she said, I've decided to retire from gymnastics. I was like, what? And she said, Miss Val, I will do anything for my team. I will do anything for my team. Unbelievable. And she'd been with us 4 months.
I just knew that if I was around her, I was gonna grow as a person, I was gonna be challenged every single day. And that's exactly what happened. I just tried to soak up as much wisdom and information as I could about how she did what she did and how she took that program and made it a national championship winning program.
There are a few people in my life that have the utmost character and integrity. Of every choice they make is really pure, not self-serving, but confident in wanting to make a positive difference. And so it's been such a privilege and honor for me to be around her all these years, since she was 15 years old.
The number one thing I learned from her is that, we've got this team of 15 student athletes, but in the end, first and foremost, they're people and they're humans, and they're coming to college and they're gonna transform and grow and learn so much about themselves. And I think if you start with connecting with them from coach to person instead of coach to gymnast, you're gonna motivate them so much better and you're gonna get so much more out of them.
Every single thing her student athletes are going to be going through in their time here, she's gone through it. When you want to talk about resiliency, or you want to talk about not making the cut of a team, You want to talk about all that. She has lived it at the highest level. And she has a beautiful way of sharing that experience with her and being with her student athletes and being empathetic without an ego. She's the perfect combination of confidence at the highest level with no ego. And because of that, she's going to light the world on fire.
Well, from Jordan Weber and Valcondo's Field to Courtney Coupette's Carter, certainly an accomplished gymnast, and hard to believe at home she has not one, not two, but three young kids in addition to coaching her team at Georgia.
That's a job in and of itself, I hear. It's fantastic that she's able to give enough of her time to both her family and to this team, which is probably her family as well.
Indeed, competed on 4 team national championships, 2000 through 6. 2009, 9 individual NCAA titles, 15-time All-American, and has her team off to a tremendous beginning, ranked 10th. You see that chalk all over her back right there. But Arkansas, here is the rotation on the beam. And for the Razorbacks, see if they can continue after a very strong performance on the bars. Here is Jessica Yamzan to lead off.
You've seen Jessica lead off now on her 3rd event to lead off tonight. Like I said earlier, she's such a consistent lead off with scoring and with consistency in her routines. That's why they keep her in this position. Gets the team started off strong.
Even with the fact they dropped her score in the bar, she got off to a great beginning, and it certainly propelled them forward.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even if her score doesn't count, I know that she's happy to be a part of it and give that boost of confidence for the rest of the team and the rest of the lineup. She's been spot on this entire routine already. Nice front toss. Connection there. Trying to her dismount. Stuck landing. It's the first one from Arkansas in this event.
I wondered if they were contagious, but you see the smiles and the hugs after another one for Arkansas.
You can definitely tell that this is something that they've been focusing a lot on in every single event. Looks like that consistency is helping.
Indeed it has. Now for the Georgia Gym Dogs, this is a routine in which they are ranked 4th in the country. They were at 49.6 last week. In fact, they had 5 9.9s or better.
That's great for Georgia to not have to count much lower than a 9.9. I mean, you don't see that very often.
Alyssa Perez Lagonis, sophomore out of Duluth, up first on the floor. She had a 9.875 last week, and they dropped it.
I love this routine so much. So dramatic. She's having so much fun. Look at her smile there. The dance is just so dramatic, and she does such a great job of showing it off. She had a double pike there to start. Great landing. Whip half to front layout. She's doing a great job in this leadoff position. So important to hit this routine for the rest of your team going forward.
This has been the event for both of these teams in which they've racked up a lot of points and done some serious scoring.
This is an easy event to rack up the high scores. So if you can take advantage of it for your team, this is where you want to take advantage of that. She goes for her last pass. Double tuck. Perfect chest up on that landing. This was a great routine from her. She brushed it off like, all right, you saw what I just did. Going into that last pass one more time. Nice double tuck. Great height there. Perfect landing. Again, great routine from her.
Up next for Arkansas, the freshman from Indiana, John Fania. She did stick her landing last week at Mizzou, and some of her teammates struggled doing just that, something that has not been an issue so far tonight.
Yeah, well, with Arkansas's stuck landings tonight, hopefully she can continue with that tonight as well. Beautiful back handspring layout step out. Great connection there. throughout the routines, you're really wanting to make sure there's no breaks, no pauses where they're just standing for a long period of time. You want to see it consistently moving. She's doing a great job of that so far. Front toss there again. It's her lead pass, switch leap to back tuck.
Oh.
Again, good connection there, but a little bit off on the landing. You could see her really work for her foot to stay on that beam.
She sure did.
Jump series there. Making sure that she hits that 180 degrees on the straddle. Going into her dismount. Round off 1.5. Almost a stuck landing there.
Hop at the end.
Yeah, a little bit of a hop. Just slight deduction on the landing, but great routine from her. Arkansas has been consistent on this event, so hopefully they can keep it up throughout the rest of the rotation.
See the points of emphasis on the floor. You talk about the artistry and the tumbling.
It'll really set you apart on this event if you show it off and get the judges, the crowd involved. That was my favorite part as a gymnast.
Bet it was. It's been interesting. Georgia's shifted their rotation from last week when they had the third highest score in the conference this year. Megan Roberts did not compete when they had the 5.99. She's in there tonight.
Maybe they were trying to save her for the rest of the season, not put her in as much, keep her body healthy. Nice piked full in there to start. Nice E-pass. Leap series, great connection there, perfect 180. Goes for a second pass. Front layout, front full, little bit of leg bend there in the first layout. Just be a slight deduction. A little bit of floor work. So the gymnasts have to go down onto the floor at some point in their routine. They can't always stay on their 2 feet. Something that a lot of people don't actually know. Last pass here. Double pike. Little bit of chest down on the landing, but she pulled it off well.
It's Megan
Difficult
Roberts.
routine there.
Arkansas ready for their third of the 6 competitors. As you see the points of emphasis on the beam and poise, of course, a big one when you're contending with that 4-inch wide beam.
Yeah, on these 2 events, floor and beam, you have a lot of dance that you have to put in there, the choreography. So if you're able to take advantage of that and show it off a little bit, you can rank up your score a little bit. She does a very interesting mount, back handspring, mount onto the beam.
We don't see Bailey on the vault, but she competes in the other 3 over the course of this competition.
She's been very strong for Arkansas gymnastics team this year. Gives her a good boost of confidence after not competing last year. So front aerial step out to back layout step out. Good connection there. She's having fun looking at the judges. It's important, eye contact, not just looking at the beam or focusing in on just your routine. You kind of show it off a little bit. Into her dismount. Gainer off the end, and a little hop. Go and show the dismount again. Looks like she just had to take a little tiny hop forward there.
So the third of 6 competitors through on the beam. Jordan Weber has some discussions as Rachel Lucas, you see her tremendous average on the floor, is up third for Georgia.
It's nice to have a consistent scorer in the middle of the lineup just to keep the momentum going for the team. Beautiful double layout. More serious music now from her. And her second pass, round off 1.5. Front layout half to Shushanova. A lot of the gymnasts have been doing a jump out of their passes lately just so that they don't have to count that awkward step out or a chest down landing or anything, so kind of saves them in some instances. Trying to get the crowd involved. About to go for her last pass. Double pike, beautifully done. Chest up on the landing. Great height there. Beautiful routine from her. Definitely gonna score well on that routine.
New Jersey native Rachel Lucas competing tonight on the floor for Georgia. Their numbers will not match last week, but still some good performances as we go back to the beam with Kennedy Henbrick. We mentioned she led her team in 3 of the 4 events she competed in. This was the one that she did not, looking to improve upon the 9.75 at Mizzou last Friday.
Right. I think going into this week, she's really wanting to get that back where she can have one of the higher scoring beam routines for their team. She did another cool mount there, a little bit different. I like how Arkansas has been incorporating some different mounts, set them apart from the other teams. Beautiful connection in the acro series there. And her leap series, beautifully done. You can see the 180 degrees in both splits. Beat jump. Her jump series there, great connection again. See, she had a little smirk there. Looking at the judges. She's having fun up there. Nice dismount and another stuck landing.
And the reaction from her teammates. It's been something when you put forth a week of effort on refining landings and then see them come to fruition with success on Friday nights.
Yeah, it is a huge accomplishment when you can see all the hard work that you've done the past week or prior to that in anything that you're trying to improve on.
She's got the necklace on as we go back to the floor for Soraya Hawthorne, the freshman out of Memphis. Got a little sass already in this routine.
Georgia's been putting a lot of sass in their routines this year. I like it. Nice double pike to start. Lots of momentum coming out of that double pike. She controlled it well, though. I bet she'll put something, an E-pass in later on in season. She's got a lot of power there. Leap series, a little bit low on her 180 degrees. About to go into her second pass.
Very dramatic beginning to this second pass.
It is. Front layout, front full and a half to split jump. You see that extra jump out of it again. Trying to keep them from having that chest down landings. Ready to go into her last pass here. Double tuck, another huge double there. Georgia's been doing a great job of getting height on their doubles and moving through on their second passes. The connections are really good and they're keeping their legs together.
The reaction you heard was from the score for Hambrick, a nice bounce back of 9.925. But Sophia Carter set the program record on the beam last year against Georgia. She had a 9.975 and even back in February, a 9.950. So she's had some of her best performances on this apparatus against Georgia.
That's why they've got her in this position. She does a great job with her artistry. Like we pointed out earlier, the poise in the routine, she is the epitome of that word. She shows her routine off so well. Back handspring layout, step out. Beautifully done. You can see her taking a deep breath there. Front aerial. I love how she's able to show off the completion of the skill by just popping her chin up a little bit. She's like, okay, watch me.
Won the event title at Mizzou last week, her first of this season, her 8th of her career.
She is fantastic on this event. You really want to make sure on the full turns that your heel's staying up at the very end. Sometimes the judges will take just a little bit off if your heel's not staying up. Nice dismount and stuck landing. You could almost see her whole face there when she did the Razorback finish.
It's almost as if the excitement on a stuck landing leads to an even bigger bend backwards in the celebration as she waited for the applause to come raining down from this old building.
She goes into that dismount again. When I was competing, that you feel it the next day after you do one of those Razorback finishes.
I could feel it from here. So the necklace now on her. Here's Rachel Bauman off a 9.925 last week.
She does a really fantastic wolf triple turn here. And beautifully done. She's excited about making that one.
Knows exactly where the camera's placed as well for a quick look.
It was. 1.5 front full. Beautifully done. She has such pretty artistry. Really engages her flexibility in her dance, which you like to see a lot of. Her sister and her are actually competing together. Her sister competes for Florida, so they get to kind of have a similar experience that my sister and I get.
I like it.
Get to share the same love for the same sport. Second pass here. Double pike. Another beautifully done double back from Georgia. Nice leap series, hit 180 degrees there. What a great routine from her.
Rachel Bauman, get a little fist pump there.
Here's her second pass again. Nice double pike. Beautifully done. So she did complete only 2 tumbling passes, but since she added in the extra leaps and turns, that's why she gets that 10-0 star value still.
The Razorbacks have had back-to-back 9.925s. An interesting beginning here for Sarah Schaefer. This was an event last year. She competed in the first 3 weeks, dropped it for the last 9, didn't compete in it last week as she tries to get back into full swing with this apparatus.
Yeah, I think they're trying to save her body a little bit right now, so keeping her as healthy as possible to keep her to the end of season. Sometimes they'll keep a gymnast out of the lineup just to save them from that extra pounding on their bodies. Been a little bit wobbly during this routine, but she's able to control it and stay on the balance beam. Leap series, a little bit low at the front leg on the switch leap, but perfect connection there. Nice turn. About to go into her dismount here. Side aerial to full. Looks like she almost missed her foot going into the full off of the end of the beam, so it kind of made her take a step forward there.
Completes the 6 for Arkansas on the beam. You're in for a real treat now as we go to the floor with Sabrina Vega, SEC Specialist of the Week, All-American honors. She got a 10 from one judge last week. We'll see if she uses the same combination with a doorbell with a part of her music.
I will say this is definitely one of my favorite routines I've ever watched.
There's the doorbell. She'll come on in and wait to the end. I won't give it away, but she has a tremendous finish to this doorbell theme.
You almost want to make your routine a story. You want them to be able to follow with it and give them a good shock at the end. Full in there, tucked full in. She always has great artistry in her routine. A little laugh there.
Top 3 in this conference in this event.
Round off 1.5 front layout to jump there to finish out that tumbling pass. Beautifully done. Perfect 180 leaps. Such interesting music.
Feel like you're at Disney World, right? Maybe on a ride of some sort?
I want to know where they found all this music. It says, watch me. Let me show you what I got. Double pike.
And kicks that door shut.
Basically kicked her teammate out of the corner over there.
Almost took out some of the gym dogs. There's some attitude that everybody enjoyed with that performance. One of the best in the conference in the floor.
She goes again for that last pass. Kicks her teammates out of that corner over there.
Adds to the show. Little sis back up on the beam now in an exhibition.
I know this is one of her favorite events, so she's excited to hopefully work her way back into the lineup. Beautiful flick layout step out. Leap series, switch leap. Beautiful connection, had to save herself a little bit there to hold on. Nice full turn. This is a great position for her to be in with an exhibition this week on her own equipment, and maybe next week can get into the lineups.
Of course, she finished so strong last year with the 9-9 at the SEC Championships on this event.
Hopefully she can get some of those jitters out this week.
More jitters for mom or dad or you right now?
Probably me, to be honest. That was a great routine from her.
And she's happy to be competing and really showing no rust off her performances tonight with the vault and that exhibition, and really a strong performance on the beam. A very difficult event, but the Razorbacks handled it with some outstanding scores, including Hambrick and Carter, as we complete this third rotation. Georgia so strong on the floor. 4th in the country. Jessica Yamson, she got things started for the gym
Perfect
back.
stuck dismount there.
Hawthorne competing for Georgia on the floor.
Huge double tuck on floor.
And John Fania as well.
Round off 1.5. Dismount, a little bit of a hop forward for them.
In Fayetteville. And the Arkansas Razorbacks sitting pretty with that lead over the Georgia Gym Dogs with their best event yet to come on the floor. And back inside Barnhill Arena, Brett Dolan and Heather Ellswick. It's been fun talking about not only these gymnasts, but the head coaches that are leading them with Jordan Weaver, Courtney Kupets-Carter as well, because there's so much experience in these coaching staffs teaching and educating these gymnasts.
Definitely, and like I said earlier, I think it's so great that they're able to relate to these gymnasts on another level in comparison to other teams and other coaches.
Take you through a photo package of Courtney Kupets-Carter and Heenan Dotson, and some of the memories of being a teammate away from the competition, I'm sure, and the big smiles after competing with Georgia.
I love that they were ex-teammates and now they're able to lead a team in the same way that they were before.
So much and so many accomplishments for Courtney Kupets-Carter. Again, she started her coaching career at such a young age, but has carried over the success she had competing to teaching. There's a look as well at Heenan Dotson, Katie Heenan Dotson, a volunteer coach, so doesn't matter what it takes to get that start, just to keep this gymnastic sports in their blood.
Definitely. I know I miss it a lot, and much more fun when you get to teach what you have learned over your past experiences and build greater gymnasts to come.
Katie, also a Honda Award winner. Fans here tonight having a great time at Barnhill Arena. They always love watching the floor for the home team, and that's what is straight ahead from Barnhill Arena. Summary, after 3 rotations, Georgia got off to the lead despite the strong performance from Amanda Elswick, her first vault of the year. But Arkansas, Heather, was able to take that advantage in the second and third rotations with some strong all-around efforts.
Definitely, and I think Arkansas is ending on their strongest event, which could be what sets them higher than Georgia at the end of this. But Georgia's always got a great chance here at the end on balance beam. They're strong on that event as well. You
see the score from Vega, the 9.950, which equaled what she did last year. That was certainly a treat to watch.
Definitely. She's so much fun on that event, and I love her choreography.
And here's the Georgia beam lineup. They are 6th in the NCAA in this performance, so they were 4th in floor coming into tonight, 6th in beam. So as you mentioned, there is a lot of history and tradition in this performance.
It's definitely going to be a close one at the end of this tonight.
Michaela McGee will lead off. She had a season high of a 9.85 last week, part of a 49.425 performance.
And now, to make it the 4th and final rotation on beam for Georgia.
So McGee, the sophomore from League City, Texas, in the Houston area, a big smile and ready to begin things here in this 4th and final rotation.
Big deep breath there from her to get started. Calm her nerves before she gets on the balance beam.
Seems like that's something a lot of these gym dogs do in their various competitions.
It's hard not to on this event. I mean, you're standing on a 4-inch beam 4 feet off of the floor, so you got to have a relaxed mindset.
That calm confidence we talk a lot about with Georgia.
Exactly. Triple series, back handspring layout, step out. Beautifully done. You want to see that full connection there. Nice full turn. She's nice and calm up there.
Going in the Wayback Machine for this music.
Yeah. Nice routine. I'd call that a stuck dismount.
I would too.
She pulled those heels together pretty quickly to save it. That's what you almost got to do. You got to fake it till you make it.
I like that thought process. And Jessica Yamzon leading off again, coming off a 9.8 last week. It was dropped because of the strong overall performance. Nonetheless, it was a good beginning for that routine for Arkansas.
Right. Hopefully tonight her score will count into the total.
And this is where this new alignment with the student section close to the floor, up on their feet, clapping and cheering helps lift the emotions just a bit.
Double tuck there. The crowd's getting really into her routine. You can see Corey in the background over there in his neon outfit doing her whole dance. Second pass, double pike. Jessica has great tumbling, just needs to get her chest up on those landings to really maximize her potential on those skills. Throwing up the A there. Something that they've been trying to incorporate in most of their floor routines. Little worm action there. I remember when Jessica was an incoming freshman and dance was not her forte, but she's gotten so much better with it. Last pass, front lay, front full, little bit of knee bend there. Fantastic connection though. That was a good lead off routine for Arkansas. Last pass again, front layout for full. You can just see a little bit of knee separation, knee bend there. But overall, great routine.
It's going to be interesting to watch Rachel Lucas on the beam. Last week she fell, had to get back up, but then stuck her landing, able to regain enough composure just in case they needed that score, and ended up dropping the 9-1-7-5.
You want to make sure everything before and after that fall counts, because you don't ever know if somebody's going to make a bigger mistake than you, and you don't want your score to be counted in that lowest. So no matter what, you want to make sure that you do your absolute best to stay on the beam the rest of the routine. A
relatively new event, competed just once on the beam last year.
She seems like she's doing a great job so far. She had a great connection in her acro series there to begin with. Oh, having to hold on there. Slight bobble, but she wasn't giving up there. She said, heck no. Not again. Dismount here. Double back. Slightly short there, but that's a hard dismount. I mean, a round off double tuck off the balance beam is very difficult, so I feel like that's something that isn't very common for her.
Still finding her way just a bit on the beam. Up second for Arkansas, the freshman out of Indiana, Kiera Johnfania, off a 9.825 a week ago. Pretty similar to what her average is on the season.
It's great to see a freshman come in and be as consistent as she has been this year.
Arkansas can say that about a lot of their young performers.
Definitely. I mean, Arkansas is a pretty young team, so they have to throw up some younger gymnasts into their lineups, and it's good to know when a gymnast can step up to the plate.
She knows how to play to that student section, just seemingly feet away.
Going to her second pass. 1.5 front layout. Saved the landing there. A little bit of a bigger step out than I would like to see, but you never know what the judges are looking for.
You're able to walk into that just a bit, though, as long as you're not trying to stick the landing.
Right, you just don't want to have basically a jump step forward.
Stumble?
Yeah. Getting the crowd back in it. Everybody in the audience on the student section is doing the whole dance with her. Nice lead pass. Great connection. A little bit of a hop out at the end there. You really want to make sure that you're ending the skill. Don't rush out of it. Tend to make more mistakes then. Double tuck. Great height there. She winks at the student section. Great job from her.
Both of these teams in the top 5 in the country on the floor. So Arkansas hoping to finish strong as they did last week with a 49.4.
Definitely going to be a close one at the end here.
For a dismount.
Not the best song to have played during the routine, but she proved that song wrong. Going into the dismount again. Side aerial to full off bounce beam. Perfectly stuck. Great job from her.
Arkansas is back to Hambrick. Led the team and tied a career high last week with a 9.925.
Crowd's clapping with her. Getting her pumped up for this first pass. Huge double tuck. I have a feeling she has something bigger in store later in the season.
I think you're right.
Second pass. Her handspring from full half to a jump. Perfectly connected. Her tumbling's so effortless, which is really what you want to see from a gymnast. You don't want to see them trying extra hard to make a tumbling pass. And for her, seems like she's tumbling on clouds. Very effortless for her. Having fun there with the wave. Lead pass. Would like to see her toes pointed a little bit more. May have it take, the judges may take a little bit of a deduction there, but not much. A little shimmy here. Going into her last pass. Big double pike. Basically flawless routine from Kennedy there.
Another outstanding performance from Kennedy Hambrick.
Showing her consistency every single week on this event. It's that second pass again to the jump. Beautifully done.
We talked about Georgia competing at this performance. They've had a 9.9 and 9.925 already. DeYoung had that high score, giving way to Marissa Oakley, who was outstanding a week ago on the beam.
Mount onto the beam, into her wolf full turn. I love this entry into her routine. It's very unique. Just like floor, at some point in the beam routine, you have to touch your knees or something above that to the balance beam. So she started the beam routine off with that. It's easier than going up and down and up and down. Beautiful over 180-degree jumps there. Great flexibility from her. Side aerial. Nicely done. And her dismount. Cartwheel to gain her full. Beautifully done from her.
Melissa Oakley, another strong performance. You may have heard an ovation in the middle of her routine. It was for the score of Kennedy Hambrick that was posted at 9.925 as Sarah Schaefer is up fourth.
Scores are continuing to go up, so that's what you want to see from both teams. Sarah Schaefer going on floor. She has fun choreography as well. Switches from a little bit more fun to more dramatic here. First pass, double pike. Beautifully done. With as tall as she is, she can get that extra height on the floor with her tumbling passes. You can see how much higher she is than most of the other gymnasts.
Very athletic in everything she does.
Exactly. Height sometimes gives her that advantage. The double tuck for her second pass. Going into her leap pass here. She does an extra jump, an extra popa there because she actually ends with a pass that's not a double back or a D-level skill. So you want to make sure that you're adding that extra jump into the routine to get the same start value as everybody else. 1.5 front lay out there. Beautifully done by Sarah. Fantastic routine from her.
She'll wear the necklace, and when I love looking up into that student section, you see as many men sometimes as you do women enjoying the competition. They've come out in full force all season.
I love that Arkansas has been able to bring in this type of students and fan base in comparison to previous years.
We were here a couple of weeks ago, and they had a program record 6,700.
A little bit of a step back, kind of piked her hips on the end of the twist there. She did a great routine, just had that pretty big bobble there from her series, but she held on and she won't let that fall count.
Here's Bailey Lovett, a 9.9 last week, the third routine of 9.9 or better. Remember, she had a 9.95 here a couple of weeks ago against Denver.
She has been outstanding on this event. The start pass that she does, her very first pass is incredible. She does a huge double layout here. It's one of the best double layouts I think I've seen. Perfectly done. Very excited about that. Getting the crowd involved again. Everybody's clapping. You can see all the dads in the background in their overalls and their neon green tonight. Perfect second pass. Beautiful connection to jump there. Having fun here. Getting ready for this last pass. She's just gonna catch her breath. Make sure that she finishes this routine really strong. Her floor section. It's kind of nice when you get to be on the ground though. It gives you a chance to breathe for a second. Catch your breath before you go into the next section of your routine. Sophia cheering her on in the back. Big double tug. Looks like she just came out of it a little bit early, which caused her to have her chest down, but basically a stuck landing there. Great routine from her.
Continues her strong efforts this season on the floor.
It's the first pass again. Huge double layout. Perfectly done. Fantastic routine from her.
Well, you're in for a treat now with Sabrina Vega on the beam. It's a Georgia tradition for the Gym Dogs that someone's going to moonwalk up on that beam, so we'll see if Vega does that tonight. That's been part of her routines this year.
I'm pretty sure she's the one that does the moonwalk. She's been doing it for a couple of years, I think.
Such a dramatic facial posture with her hands and her gestures.
Just like floor. She incorporates a little bit of that floor dance into her beam. Sometimes the gymnasts will kind of pull some of the moves from their floor routine choreography into their beam routine choreography, so everything kind of matches. She may have done that with her routine tonight. Here's the moonwalk.
There we go.
She does it perfectly. Still haven't mastered my moonwalk. I can't figure that one out. Series. Back handspring layout, step out. Perfect. Turn. Nice full turn. She's so calm up there. Definitely has great momentum moving throughout the routine. Barely any pauses. Perfect dismount, stuck landing. She's happy about it.
She is a performer.
She is. You gotta be. Nice dismount again there. Stuck landing. And the excitement from her, from that routine.
Going back to Bailey Lovett, she had a 9.925, and up in that anchor spot is Sophia Carter.
Again, with her choreography, so unique to her. And the way that she expresses her dance is beautiful. She's able to really extend through every pose, shows off everything so well. Beautiful double tuck there to start. She's always been such a beautiful dancer. You have to take advantage of the things that you're good at. Right, going into the second pass. Wind off 1.5, front full. She is doing fantastic throughout this routine so far. Just one more pass left. Hopefully she can end this rotation for Arkansas on a really high note. Haven't seen many deductions so far, so. Very dramatic here before her last pass. Taking a deep breath. Nice double pike. Basically perfect from Sophia. What a superb way to end this event for Arkansas.
The floor continues to be such an amazing scoring opportunity for Arkansas.
Here's her last pass again. Nice double pike. She held on to that landing really well.
So Vega had a 9.925 in Arkansas, trying to finish off the win against the Georgia Gym Dogs, and what lived up to the billing as far as an evenly matched, outstanding competition between two of the heavyweights, not only in this conference, but in the country.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like Arkansas is excited no matter what the final score is going to be, and they're going off into the crowd now as their celebration.
There they go, up in the student section. We'll step aside and come back and wrap things up after the Gym Dogs and the Razorbacks competed on Friday Night Heights in Northwest Arkansas. Well, after one rotation tonight, Georgia had the lead, but Arkansas finishes strong as they did a week ago, and they win tonight 196.950 over the Georgia Gym Dogs. Brett Dolan with Heather Elswick. We expected a tremendous competition, and we got that again tonight. Arkansas continues to improve it. Against Mizzou last week, it was their first dual meet win in more than a year, and they back it up in front of the home crowd tonight.
I think this is fantastic momentum and confidence for Arkansas to move forward throughout the rest of the season. They have some more SEC tournament competitions coming up, so it'll be nice to see how they rank in those competitions as well going into the SEC tournament.
They wanted to focus on landings tonight. Some of the details, some of the fine points. We'll see that as we go to the vault and see Kennedy Hambrick.
She had a great Yurchenko full here. A little bit of a hop back there, but hopefully we'll see some bigger vaults from her throughout season.
She had a 9.8 here on the bars. Kiera Johnfania scored a 9.875.
Perfect dismount there to a stuck landing.
Tell you what, it's always fun to watch Bailey Lovett as she continues to impress.
She does. She's been so consistent for this team this year.
Both of these teams so good on the floor. Soraya Hawthorne had so much power and such a little body for Georgia.
She did. She is fantastic on this event alone.
Tonight's individual winners. How about Amanda Elswick in her first competition of the season getting a win in the vault?
That's pretty exciting for her. I know she feels great that she's able to contribute for this team a little bit more in scores rather than just cheering her teammates on.
And Beam, we had a four-way tie, but on the bars, Kennedy Hambrick a 9.95, and Sabrina Vega put on a show tonight as well on the floor.
Definitely. Both teams really showed up tonight, and it showed in the final scores.
So the teams, getting their awards tonight, but Arkansas enjoys the win with a 196.950. So back-to-back wins for the Razorbacks. What a performance all the way around. Our next broadcast, Auburn and Arkansas on February 21st at 7:30 Eastern Time. So we appreciate you tuning in tonight for Friday Night Heights. For Heather Elswick, I'm Brett Dolan, thanking you for watching, and good night from Barnhill Arena in Northwest Arkansas.